Hello everyone, this is my screencast for my Smart Notebook lesson titled Thomas Jefferson and the Louisiana Purchase. In this lesson, I'll be teaching students about the life of Thomas Jefferson as well as the events leading up to the Louisiana Purchase. So, under my lesson objectives, my first objective is to have students understand the influence Thomas Jefferson's administration had on the United States. The second one is to analyze the events leading up to the purchase of the Louisiana Territory, as well as the thinking behind the decision to purchase the territory. And the last one is to evaluate specific reasons why Jefferson decided to purchase the Louisiana Territory. Under Teacher's Notes, the subject is United States History 1. The topic is Thomas Jefferson and the Louisiana Purchase. I specifically made this lesson for 8th grade because during my observation, this was a lesson that I actually taught to the 8th graders and they received it well, so I thought this would be a great lesson to turn over into a Smartboard lesson. The prior knowledge is the French and Indian War, and my cross-curricular link is mathematics. And these are my lesson notes, which I won't go into because I'll be showing you guys each slide as I go over them. So the first slide that I have includes my essential questions. These are the questions that I want the students to be able to answer at the end of my lesson. So I have a poll tab here, and when you pull it up, they can actually see the questions. So the first question is discuss the changes that took place in the United States during Jefferson's administration. And the second one is argue why President Jefferson decided to purchase the Louisiana Territory. My second slide is a do now activity, and I have a link here to a video that I want students to watch, and the instructions is to watch the short overview video on the Louisiana Purchase and write down 2 to 3 points from the video that they can share with the class. This is, like I said before, this is actually what I had the students doing, and they actually received this really well because throughout this lesson I'm teaching them about the Louisiana Purchase, but through this video they were able to pull out key points, write them down, and we discussed it further. We came back to these points in this video throughout the lesson. And this link should take you to the YouTube video that I wanted to show the students. And as you can see, it's a short little clip. It's a short little video clip, about 3 minutes, that has a lot of information on the Louisiana Territory. The next slide is a slide all about the life of Thomas Jefferson, and because this is a lot of notes, I was thinking about having one student actually come up to the board to read this to the class, and the next student can come up and actually highlight it. So they can have a highlighter here, and the student can actually come up and highlight important points. So one of the things I'm going to have after this is a quiz on the life of Thomas Jefferson. So I want one student to come up after it's read to highlight the important points. So one thing that they can highlight is Thomas Jefferson was the founder of the University of Virginia. It's one thing to highlight. He practiced law. One other thing to highlight, he was a member of the Continental Congress. Well, not necessarily like that, but he was a member of the Continental Congress, and he was chosen to draft the Declaration of Independence. And that'll probably come out a lot better when the students actually do it. The next slide for the students is a quiz on the life of Thomas Jefferson. So the idea is to have the students actually have the students come up, read the question, and give the answer. And if one student doesn't know the answer, they can call on someone within their group to help them answer questions. So how this works is the student will read the questions. All of these are accomplishments that Thomas Jefferson accept, and they pick the right answer. So they can, if they pick a wrong answer, it'll actually give them the red marks. But if they pick the right answer, then they can go on to the next question. And I have about 5 questions here in if I have 5 groups in the classroom like I did when I taught this lesson, then each group has a chance to answer one question. And I was actually thinking about doing like a point system throughout the end, and the group that has the most amount of points at the end can actually do the wrap up for the class. They can tell all about the life of Thomas Jefferson as well as the events leading up to the Louisiana Purchase for extra classroom points. The next slide is just one slide that actually shows the map of the Louisiana Territory. And at the top, I have a scrolling bar that tells students that this was the land that was purchased, as well as a long arrow that points to this territory. Because I think that when you're talking about the Louisiana Territory and the Louisiana Purchase, it's important for students to put this into perspective so they might know where Louisiana is, which is down here, and this might be what they think we're talking about, but when you put it into perspective and show them that we're talking about this amount of land, it probably might actually surprise them. So I thought it was important to put a map in. This next slide is a timeline of territory, and students can come up and click on different points, and it shows them different information, such as in the 18th century, France controlled more of the present-day United States than any other European power. Students might not have known that. So I want students from each group to come up and actually come to like to click on this information and read it to the classroom, and then we can talk about it after each point. And this is like a great way to facilitate discussion, as well as an easy way to have students write down classroom notes and remember dates. The next slide is my cross-curricular slide, which is mathematics. And I wanted students to actually do the math to calculate how many acres of land, how much the United States paid per acre. So here I have my calculator, and I have this question. The United States purchased the Louisiana Territory, which was about 50 million acres, 500 million acres of land for $15 million. Can you calculate how much the United States paid per acre? And the students will actually come here and calculate. They can calculate on their own, and when the student has the right answer, they can come to the board and calculate, and they can type in numbers, get a calculation, and actually put it here so everyone can see it once they finish. This isn't the right answer. I just wanted to show you guys that you can actually have numbers come out of the calculator, which will be easier for the students to see. And my last slide is really a wrap-up slide. So there are a few key terms that I want the students to know from this from this Smartboard presentation. And because of this, I thought it would be a great way to have them come up here and use this activity to actually name the terms. So as you can see, they have a clue. This country owned most of the present-day United States in the 18th century. And they can click on letters in order to get the score. And it can go on to the next. Oh, it's supposed to be a F there. They can go on to the next one. If they don't know it, they can buy the letter, but that counts as a miss. And like I said before, the group that has the most points at the end can actually do the wrap up, because the classroom that I taught in, they had a point system, and the group that has the most points at the end actually got an extra prize. But in this lesson, the group that has the most points at the end can do a wrap up, and I'll have probably the classroom leader taking the points for the students. So here is my entire Smartboard lesson on Thomas Jefferson and Louisiana Purchase. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.